Hi friends. Sugarlicious deliciousness. The only sugar you should be getting is the sugar you get when you kiss somebody. And even then, it better be a pretty sweet kiss, otherwise you're being robbed of some really good sugar. That was so lame. Alright, so I'm going to tell you a couple ways that you can sweeten up your foods without using any sugar whatsoever. And you can have it in as many lumps as you want, not just one or two. Well, within reason still. So, first let me tell you what sugar does, so that you're motivated to not do that anymore. Sugar, for starters, creates a wonderful internal environment, wonderful from the perspective of disease. It creates an internal environment that disease depends on to thrive in, including all cancers, inflammation, and a bunch of other things. It also impedes healing. If you get cut, if you have surgery, or anything in between, it slows down the entire healing process. It impedes on circulation, and that's something that affects every cell in your body, all 1 trillion of them. It makes no sense to stifle circulation, right? Right. It makes you age more quickly, your mind, your body, and your soul, because there's a relationship between the soul and the body. So if you're going to age your body more quickly by eating sugar, you're going to age your soul too, just so you know. Alright, so that just touches on the surface. It's going to also toxify the liver and your pancreas, obviously, heart, lungs, the whole shebang. Also, it gets in the way of brain activity. The synapses aren't going to fire properly. You're more of a candidate for Alzheimer's as you get older. And believe me, you do not want to be in a set of circumstances where you're old, you got Alzheimer's, and you need to be in a folks' home. You don't want that. So cut out sugar. And if you are in a place where you're like, I'm so tempted to add sugar to whatever I'm making, then just think to yourself, well, I don't want to grow old and have Alzheimer's and end up in an old folks home and have my limbs amputated and get diabetes and all these other problems. Okay, so here's some things that you can do to make your life a lot easier, because we are supposed to enjoy our food, I believe anyway. Start thinking in terms of sweetening up your foods with whole food sweeteners. Whole food sweeteners, not isolates. Sugar is an isolate, and when it's just by itself. For example, if you eat an apple, apple has sugar. If you add sugar to that apple, then you mess it all up, and you mess up your body too, and your soul. So just take something more practical, because I don't know anybody that adds sugar to an apple. But let's say you're making applesauce. Almost everybody adds sugar to their applesauce. If you want a sweeter apple, then go with a Golden Delicious versus a Granny Smith. And if you still want it sweeter, maybe put a date or a fig through a food processor. And then you got the whole food sweetener as a date or a fig, and you throw that in with your applesauce, and it tastes amazing. Now you just sweeten it with a whole food sweetener instead of sugar. That's what Hippocrates meant when he said, let food be thy medicine. Was it Hippocrates? Well, it was one of those guys. Whoever said it, let food be thy medicine. He didn't say let isolates be thy medicine. He said let food, translation whole food. Also with applesauce, by the way, you can spice it up with cinnamon. Cinnamon is a whole food spice. It's not a sugar at all. It's just a whole food spice, and it tastes great, especially with apples. Also, cinnamon is wonderful. It's a superfood for the pancreas and also other things. Take your pasta sauce. It's another thing that people typically throw sugar on to make it sweeter. Skip that, because then you mess it all up, and all those aforementioned problems are going to come your way as you get older. So instead of that, puree up a carrot, a whole carrot. And I got a whole food sweetener for that pasta sauce. Even if I figure a date in that pasta sauce as well, puree up one of those and put it in there. Oh my God, it's amazing. It actually tastes more pure and in a way sweeter than adding sugar to it, which sounds kind of backwards, but it's true. It's pretty cool stuff. By the way, if you're digging this content, feel free to share it. These are great ideas that should be perpetuated out into the world, because the more people know about it, the more everybody benefits. To share it. And my website, I have tons more stuff, ton more content. My website, TomBurkenmeyer.com. Just like it's spelled here on social media, TomBurkenmeyer.com. Take out the space, TomBurkenmeyer.com. And some other examples, if I can. Now you got whole food sweeteners instead of isolate sweeteners. Let food be thy medicine, not isolates. Let food. Translation, whole food. Always remember that. And always be motivated by the fact that you don't want to grow old and possibly get Alzheimer's and stifle the blood circulation throughout your entire body and and be a customer of pharmaceutical companies the rest of your life, where you can't even feel like yourself anymore because you're on their medication that creates brain fog and probably makes you even more like for Alzheimer's than you already are. Whole food sweeteners, but whole food in general. Okay? Whole food in general. To flavor things up, you can use herbs and spices, and you can use whole food sweeteners that have sugar that naturally occurs in it. Same thing with oils. I don't want to get into oils much because this video is about sweeteners, but I'll touch on it just a little bit. We'll just take salad dressing, for example, because that's the big one. When people do salad dressing, there's oil in it, and people think they're healthy because they're putting a healthy oil, like virgin olive oil or something. Oh, Facebook, you are fired. Doing a live feed, and you cut me off and stopped it right in the middle toward the ending of it. So I'll just wrap it up right now. And it probably got really choppy right before it cut me off anyway. So I guess that was coming. So to make this really short and just to end it now from my last one, oils, another great example is salad dressing. Think in terms of whole food oils, just like whole food sweeteners, whole food everything. That's food be thy medicine. It's whole food, not let isolates be thy medicine. Isolates is like the opposite of medicine. Isolates is what makes you need medicine in the first place. So oils, raw, not cooked, but raw walnuts is awesome to add oil to your dressing. Put it through a blender or a food processor of some kind with your vinegars and other things to make salad dressing. Now you have this beautiful salad dressing that is made with oils from whole food sources like walnuts. And walnuts make an excellent salad dressing. It is so good. I never put oil, even healthy oils like extra virgin olive oil. There's a lot of people, well-intended people that are, at least on that path of finding out what works and what doesn't, that are not very healthy, even though they get nothing but healthy ingredients, but they're not getting healthy whole food ingredients. You get healthy whole food ingredients, now you're really healthy. I mean, and oils and sugars are the two big common ones. But it's not just those. Those are just the common ones. So think in terms of whole food sweeteners, whole food fats, whole food oils. I mean, hemp seeds and chia seeds and different nuts and seeds. Those are whole food sources for your fats and oils that you can add to, whatever. And I gave you a bunch of sugar examples earlier. So enjoy that, my friends, and share this because this is worthwhile. And my website, tombirkenmeyer.com. And, holy run-on sentence, Batman. I'm going to stitch this video with the last one that I just did so that it's one video, and I'll upload that separately, but I'll still let these hang out too. So if you're watching this one, but you didn't catch my first one, it should be the video that is on here right before this one. Facebook cut me off and stopped it because it just did. It's technology for you. So bye everyone. Enjoy the day. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Share it because it's a great message that more people who practice whole food nutrition along with whole food sweeteners and whole food fats and whole food everything, the better off everybody is gonna be. Everybody. So perpetuate these great messages if you like them. And I will see you all later. Sooner than later. I promise. Mwah.